Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another build order guide by the mighty Hupsaya. Today I will be covering Protoss versus Protoss. Yes, that's right. I'll be covering a PvP violence action packed, destructive, gimmicky, noob stomper build, okay? So, without further ado, let's hop right into it. I've got the replay already running right now. I'm going to explain a couple things. I'm going to get my face off the screen, and we're going to get you some free wins. We're going to get you just cheap, easy wins, okay? So, we're opening up here. We're going to be doing a standard 2-gate opener. So we gateway, gas. This probe, little note, he goes down here to check for cannon rushes. Build your first gas geyser. You go check for the cannon rush. You never want to get cannon rushed. It's always a terrible feeling. We build the second gas geyser with a different probe. And this guy is important, okay? He's our Proxy Pylon probe. We're gonna build our second gateway. And this little buddy here, he's on his way. He's on his way to go to the proxy location, okay? On his way. Wherever you choose to build your proxy location at, okay? Important note. When your first gas geyser finishes, you pull one probe off of the minerals, put it into the gas geyser, and then you rally into the gas geysers. You're going to have 2 out of 3 on this one, then you're going to rally on this one until it's 2 out of 2, then you're going to rally a third probe into each gas geyser. We start our Cybernetics Core. I'm going to go a little bit faster here because this part's a little slow. Start our Cybernetics Core, and then we make a Proxy Pylon, okay? The sneaky Proxy Pylon. Our plan here is we're gonna get 6 adepts, okay? We're gonna get 6 adepts. So, important note, we make our adepts, we make Warp Gate, and then we make the Twilight Council, okay? Don't make the Twilight Council first. Because we're trying to convince our opponent that it's something that it's not, okay? I'm making it look like I want to expand. I'm like, yep, everything looks pretty normal, right? So, I'm going to tell you right now, it's very important that your adepts are sneaky. You want your adepts to be sneaky. As soon as your Twilight Council's finished, build your Dark Shrine, and this probe that builds your Dark Shrine, he's going to go build your close Proxy Pylon, okay? So you notice here, my adepts, they're not going towards his base. Also, I got very unlucky here, and he finds this Proxy probe. So, if your probe gets found, okay, just send a new one, all right? Just send a new one. So, be sneaky with your adepts. You don't want your adepts to get found out. You're just trying to get to 6 adepts. Because 6 adepts is the magic number where you can kill a pylon or a shield battery when they build it here on their ramp. So, just remember, 6 adepts. That's how many. That's the secret number. You can kill a pylon or a shield battery while it's building, okay? So, my opponent hallucinate scouts me. I'm going to make a secondary note. At 2 minutes and 50 seconds in game time, you can make a safety shield battery in case you're afraid that your opponent is proxy stargating you. We're going to throw down our robotics facility, and we're going to go build our Nexus. Get in position to build our Nexus after we build our robotics facility. So my DT warp-in is a little bit delayed here. Remember, my probe got killed over here by that pesky stalker. It's okay. Okay, it's all right. We would have been a couple seconds sooner with our DT warp-in, but it's all right. Everything's fine. So, we warp in our DTs. We make our next pylon because we want to be able to build shield batteries down here. And then we scare our opponent with the adepts. I really don't think that you should finish this adept shade. I made a big mistake here. Don't finish the adept shade. You just want to scare him. You just want to scare him with the adept shades. It's pretty important to just scare him, okay? Because what you want is the threat of these adepts to pull him into his main base. Most players, they'll see 6 adepts, and their units go in their main base because they're afraid, they're worried. They're like, it's 6 adepts. He's got a Stargate. I need to protect my probes in my main base. This guy, he was a little crazy. He's staying down in his natural. That's okay. Everything's fine. So, my DTs, they're wailing away. They're wailing away on his Nexus. I make my Nexus. It's a little delayed. I have a little bit of money floating here. That's totally fine. But our Robo finishes. We make an Immortal immediately. We make our Nexus. And then we use the Adepts to scare him. We're using the Adepts to distract him, okay? This is important. We're like, yeah, dude, chase my Adepts and not my DTs. Because our DTs, they're just wailing away. They're wrecking him. And you'll notice that my opponent here, he went Robo first. He went Robo first versus a DT build. This is the worst it could possibly be for me, right? Right? This is the worst it could possibly be for me, and I'm killing his Nexus. My Adepts get in. This is kind of like a luck thing. If your Adepts get in or not, kind of a luck thing. So don't worry about it too bad. If he blocks you off, make sure you cancel. Don't finish your shade up here. You will lose your Adepts. So we got our Immortal on the way. Got our Adepts in his main base. So I'm gonna stop here and I'm gonna explain what you should do. Right after you warp your 2 Adepts, your first 2 DTs, it's very important what you decide to make out of your warp gates next. All right. So if it's a Robo opener, you should really make 2 more Adepts or 2 Stalkers or a Sentry and a Stalker at home, okay? And that's the big distinction there. If it's a Robo or a Twilight, you'll want to make Stalkers, Sentries, or Adepts for your next warp-ins. But if it's a Stargate opener, you want to avoid the knee-jerk response, which is to make Stalkers, and you want to make more Dark Templars, because you want to make an extra Archon. Because Stalkers are really not very good at defending against Phoenix players, and most players, when they scout out this 6 Adept opener, they're going to be making Phoenixes. So you want to make an Archon and have an extra Archon at home. So I get the deny on his Nexus here. I get out with my DTs. They're little secret agents. They're bosses, dude. They're like, yeah, get out of my face. He gets all of my Adepts, right? So I'm pretty weak now. I've got an Immortal and 2 Dark Templars. It's important we get a shield battery started. I've got my 2nd Immortal on the way. I make a couple of Adepts because I know that I need something to tank. I need something to tank the Stalker shots because we know our opponent is going to counterattack us. If we kill that Nexus, our opponent is going to counterattack us. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Be ready for it, okay? Don't be afraid to make more shield batteries. I was real greedy here. I only fit in 1 shield battery. I could have 2 or 3. It would be really easy. So I got my Forge on the way. I'm going to explain to you. Listen, all right. Your plan from this point is to kill them with a 2-base all-in. If you kill this Nexus or you kill any amount of probes with your Adepts, if they have an observer already ready for you and you can't do anything with the Dark Templars, you kill them with a 2-base all-in, okay? If you do 0 damage with this, you're in a really poor position, and there's not really like a good comeback factor. But if you kill like 6 or 7 workers with your Adepts, you kill this Nexus with your DTs, you hit a 2-base timing attack, okay? You do 8 gateways, you get +1 attack. You attack with 2 to 3 Immortals, and you get a Twilight Council upgrade. Not complicated, okay? Not complicated. So right now, I'm just focused on surviving. I'm not thinking about that 2-base timing attack. I want to survive, because I know. I'm like, oh boy, this guy's got 10 Stalkers, and he's trying to kill me right now because he's pissed. So keep in mind what the attitude of your opponent is going to be. They take a lot of damage, they're going to counterattack. They're going to try and kill you. If they take a little bit of damage, they're probably not going to try and kill you. You could probably skimp on the shield batteries. You can probably afford to set your Twilight Council down and your upgrades a little bit faster. I delay my +1 here because I'm scared. I'm scared to build my upgrades. I'm scared to continue production of probes. So my probes don't really get as far ahead as they can because I'm just scared. But after you kill that Nexus, you should just have pretty much consistent probe production until you hit your 2-base saturation mark. So this is about as clean as one of my games with this build goes normally. So I got a 3rd Immortal on the way. I'm going to just speed up here, and I'm going to show you right now. Look at how far ahead I am, right? Like, I got 7 more workers than my opponent. I've got 3 Immortals, and he's got none. He's going Disruptors, okay? So it's important. I'm not using my Sentries to hallucinate Scout. I do remember in a moment here to hallucinate Scout, and I just send the hallucinate straight into his Stalkers, which is a bit of a potato moment, but it's okay. I see the Disruptors because I warped in some Adepts, and I scouted with that instead. So I know that he has disruptors, so we get the double Stargate down. So I'm avoiding the Twilight Council into 2-base follow-up. So I'm going Stargates instead because I know it's disruptors. But basically what we know is he's trying to make a comeback with the disruptors. He's got way less units than I do. Okay, he's got way less units than I do. So I need to just go get him, all right? I'm going to throw all my gateways down. I'm gonna go kill this man, all right? I'm gonna get my first Phoenix. Look, I didn't even know that he took this sneaky base. That's hilarious. But you can tell just from the state of this game that I'm very far ahead. There's not a whole lot that my opponent's gonna be able to do. Disruptors, like, if they don't have, like, way more stalkers than you have everything else, then disruptors really don't have a lot of value. Disruptors are a get more ahead kind of unit, so I don't like to make disruptors in PvP unless I'm already ahead of my opponent. So I'm taking a 3rd base. I'm playing it out safe. I'm like, yeah, I could play it out safe, but you know, I really think that leaning on the 2-base all-in attack is way more important. Like, he even goofs up his disruptor shot on me, and I'm like, hey, what are you doing over here? So I chase this guy across the map. We've got 3 Phoenixes. We catch all of his disruptors here. And the game's just over, you know? And it's all because I just killed his Nexus for free, and I got a Nexus, and I hit the 2-base saturation mark a full 1.5 minutes before my opponent did. I'm going to let you guys see the GG here. You can see I'm ridiculously far ahead, right? I got 30 army supply on this guy. Pick up his disruptors. It's over. Good game, man. Get out of my face. Alright, I'm going to move on to one more replay, okay? I'm going to show you one more replay. I'm going to show a player who reacted quite a bit better, but he still took a lot of damage and wasn't as far ahead as he could have been. This is a game where I end up losing because I make the mistake later in the game with my first warp in after the DTs. I don't warp in the proper units. This is the game where I realize that I really need to warp in the right units in response to what my opponent's tech opener is. So my opponent goes Phoenixes this game, okay? And versus a Phoenix player, remember what I said, what we need to do, we need to make a new Archon at home, alright? So when they go Phoenixes, you get another Archon. You don't make Stalkers, you don't make Sentries, you make more Archons, and you just keep making Archons and keep making Archons. My opponent scouts me here, he gets this annoying pylon block. Like I said, you really want to try and stop this from happening by having your probe over here, because he's trying to keep my Adepts here. He's keeping my probe inside my base, okay? He's getting to search all over the place. Well, he just barely missed it. He got really unlucky here. He just barely missed it. That really sucks. But listen, he's perfectly responded. He's got the Stargate and he's got the Robo. He goes immortal first though. So if my DT warp in had been a little bit more on time, I would have probably just killed him. So I'm scouting. I'm looking around. I'm like, does my opponent have a natural? I'm not sure. Keeping my opponent's Adept out of my base. This is kind of unfortunate. He kind of dragged my Adepts back towards my base, so I warp in my DTs, and I don't really have the added DPS of the Adepts to help me break down his wall. He's going for an observer anyways, but look at like the severity of his response, right? He's delayed his Nexus. I have a Nexus. He has no gateway units. Absolutely no gateway unit. I have lots of gateway units. I sacrificed my Adepts here, which is probably a really big mistake. But I kind of just realized, you know, like this is a mistake. Like I don't need to lose these units. Like I make a lot of mistakes with this build. You don't need to lose your units. I have a Nexus. He doesn't have a Nexus. Why didn't I keep my Adepts alive? Think about stuff like that, okay? But right now, here's the big mistake, right? I make 2 Stalkers. This really needed to be a second Archon, because I know he has Phoenixes. And Stalkers are really not good at killing Phoenixes because they're a light unit. So keep that in mind. Pay attention to your opponent's tech opener. You're going to know what their tech opener is when you play like this, because either you're going to kill them with the DTs, or they're going to have a Robo and they're going to shoo you away. So my Nexus almost finished when he starts his Nexus. But here we're going to see the problem, right? We're going to see the problem. I'm ahead in workers, but stalkers are terrible at killing phoenixes. Imagine if I had that one Archon right now instead. I just blast all of his phoenixes. It hits all of them at once because they clump up on each other. You can tell, right? I'm very far ahead, but the mistake that I made with my extra warp in really hurts me this game, and it lets my opponent claw his way back into the game by doing economic damage over and over to me with the phoenixes. Comes over here, but even now, right, like I'm pretty far ahead, but he dives in here and I haven't split up my units properly because I'm scared. I'm like, if I leave 2 stalkers in my main base, 5 phoenixes can kill 2 stalkers. He can like lift both of the stalkers at once and kill them. So it's really imperative. You gotta pay attention to that opening tech building from your opponent. I'm gonna let you guys roll through this game a little bit. I'm gonna explain a little bit more. But that's the build, okay? That's the build, the 6th Adept DT. If you have questions for me, go ahead and put it into the comments. Still ahead here, right? But he's clawed his way back in the game because of my bad decision making with my warp-ins. They go Stargate and they make Phoenixes, you just make Archons for the rest of the game. Make Archons for the rest of the game. Because even now, right, he's killed 13 workers, but now we're even. He's not ahead off of 13 workers. We're even off of 13 workers. So it's a bit of a shame that I made such a mistake with my decision making, but I'm trying to let you guys learn through my mistakes. Trying to let you guys learn through my mistakes, because I lose this game and I really felt like I deserved to win this game, but I went back and I looked and I was like, dang, dude. I get lucky, right? I get lucky. I get 2 adepts in his base and I kill 15 workers. I still lose this game because I haven't been making Archons this whole time. And I could have been making Archons this whole time, man. I really could have, and it would have made a huge difference. Like, if I have 4 Archons right now, like I really should be able to. My opponent killed 2 sentries over here, and it's like, why would I warp in sentries versus a Stargate opener, right? Like, they provide absolutely no value. So I'm hoping that you're seeing the strength of this opener, even though I'm really far behind or really far ahead. I could be so much more ahead if I made the right decision based on what my opponent's tech opener is. I'm gonna let this roll. My opponent comes over here with these 5 immortals and he just messes me up, man. There's just not a lot I can do. Like, these phoenixes scare me away, but like, if you could just imagine if I have 4 Archons instead of all these useless stalkers. Just remember, stalkers are terrible at everything in this matchup. So always make Archons instead. Always make Archons instead. So this was an incredibly messy game. I hope that you guys have learned something. I hope that you've learned something here. I'm gonna leave it at this. A little messy, a little choppy, but we're returning to the YouTube content. I hope that this has helped anybody. I stream on Twitch regularly. Come check me out. I'm there every day. We always making StarCraft content. I'm promising you right now, I have more YouTube videos in the future. I got them on lock for you. I've got plans. I've got build orders written out. I want to make videos that aren't just build order guides, but I really want to help people improve at the game and not just have a laugh every once in a while. So I love you. Have a wonderful evening. Good day.